What is going on, everybody? Welcome into our expansion team rebuild, episode 5, where we are now officially going to be showing up as the Houston Oilers heading into year 2 here in Madden 23. It was an interesting first season, it really was. We had some ups and downs. We weren't expecting to win a Super Bowl in year 1, but we definitely competed. We were even in the playoff picture in the last couple weeks of the season. So we competed. And now we have a very fascinating offseason ahead of us for this episode. We're going to get through the entire offseason here. And we're going to have some difficult decisions to make, but we're going to get through it in this episode. Please do hit that like button if you enjoy the episode, if you enjoy this series. And let's go ahead and get started. So I do want to recap some of our stars and kind of who will be the focal point of how we want to construct this team moving forward. Obviously, A.J. Dillon in this running game was so good in year 1, 15 touchdowns, 1,300 yards. We'll see if he maybe gets superstar in the dev trait progression stage here in just a couple advances. Kenny Golladay bounced back for us, 1,100 yards. Corey Davis, a little more quiet, 722. But that said, we are going to have to make some difficult contract decisions with these guys because we are dealing with some players whose contracts are actually up, and we don't have a ton of cap space because of the way that this worked. We inherited some big contracts, so we're going to have to probably make a call on a cheaper Corey Davis or our number 1 wide receiver, Kenny Golladay. I don't think we're going to be able to keep both. Defensively, these linebackers really good. Matt Milano, awesome for us. And Devin Bush, we're going to have to find a way to bring him back. He ends up getting that breakout, gets star dev, and definitely a young former first round pick, a potential big piece of this defense as we move forward. John Johnson as well goes up to superstar development, and actually before I recorded this got a speed boost in his upgrade, so he's definitely one of our better players after a big season for us. And Sean Murphy-Bunting has already been locked up, so those are kind of the focal points of this defense. The D-line was really concerning. That's going to be one of my focuses. Cam Jordan is going to be getting older and very expensive. I don't know if we're going to be able to retain him. The rest of these guys, didn't really give us a whole lot, whether it was Yetur Gross-Matos, Justin Matabuike, Boye Mafe. That's going to be a focal point, along with maybe the secondary a little bit. But let's go ahead and advance a little bit. We are going to take a look at kind of what happens here in the 2022 season. So the Falcons, a surprise playoff team along with the Commanders. On the bottom left of your screen here is the Steelers and the Colts making the playoffs. The Jags getting the 1 seed in the AFC. Definitely a surprise there, although based on what we've seen in real life, maybe not entirely out of the question. And Trey Lance with the Niners getting the 1 seed for the NFC. So we'll fast forward through the playoffs and see how that all plays out. As far as we're concerned, we are going to advance. We do have the number 3 pick, by the way. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud and upgrade that quarterback room, but definitely something on our mind. Let's take a look at the Pro Bowl roster to see if we got anybody in. Desmond Ridder makes the Pro Bowl for Atlanta, who made the playoffs. A.J. Dillon did make the Pro Bowl, so hopefully he can get a dev boost there. O-line, nobody. D-line, not expecting anybody. Linebacker, nope. Corner, nope. Safety, no. So just a couple there. Or just one, was it? Just A.J. Dillon? All right, let's advance to the Super Bowl. Colts and Bucks. The Matt Ryan, Tom Brady rematch. Colts taking down the Bills and the Jags to get there. The Bucks beating the Cowboys and the Niners to get there. So can Tom Brady get the swan song, Super Bowl number 8? Go out with a bang? I don't know if he retires in this game or not, to be honest. And knowing Tom Brady, maybe he would keep playing if things were going that well. But let's see if we get any dev boosts here from the squad. None for A.J. Dillon. That is a bummer. I thought he might go up to superstar. He's just going to have to earn it. Defensively, Cam Jordan, X Factor. No changes, really. But let's advance, and I think we will no longer show up as the Panthers after this advance here. There we are. The Houston Oilers are open for business, and the Bucks do win the Super Bowl. So Tom Brady wins another one. Devin White, MVP of the Super Bowl. He's going to run out of fingers for all those rings down there in Tampa. One thing that is left to do, as far as the expansion goes, is to officially getting D'Amico Ryans set up. Am I spelling that right? Gotta make sure I'm spelling his name correctly. Yep, I got it. It's actually like this with a capital M. We can finally start to kind of build up the coach a little bit more. Looks good to me. Go Khakis. Of course, the 49ers playbook here. We actually get to keep our staff points. That's good. Let's apply those right away. Definitely want to get... It does have the X factors activated. So let's get the O-line gains going. And how about some offensive and defensive boosts? Let's see. So do we want to go D tackles for block shed? I think that's probably the route we want to go. Or we can go... Let's boost our safeties play recognition for the split safety defense that we run. And now the re-sign stage. This is going to be difficult. We are going to have some losses a little bit sooner than we potentially anticipated, but we did inherit some really big contracts. They helped us set the tone, but let's see what we can do here. Tom Brady does retire, by the way. I did want to check that, especially considering he's in our division. So the Bucks are going to enter a rebuild, giving us an opportunity there. So 9 players ready to negotiate their contract, and we are showing $10 million of cap space here. And some big name players. So Devin Bush, I think, is priority number 1 based on how he played. And then Mike Gesicki might be another one. It might not actually be quite as bad as I thought. Did we have any retirements? Hang on. No, just Ty and Sicky, who was not a player for us. So let's kind of look at our setup here and maybe determine if there's any cuts we want to make first, I think is the way we want to go about this. So Cam Jordan is still X Factor. He costs a lot of money, but he's the only semblance of a pass rusher we have. So I'd rather not cut him if we don't have to. If we go to the top cap hits, Kenny Golladay is a massive one. He's 29 years old. We could clear $14.6 million in cap space by releasing Kenny Golladay. That's probably smart. And Corey Davis, I think, could step in, given the wide receiver 1 opportunity, and realistically give us similar production, even though he did produce for us. Another option would certainly be Jonnu Smith, though he has a lot of penalty. That was not a great contract that we inherited there. Kind of makes me wonder if we're going to be better off losing Mike Gesicki here, because we have a lot of cap space. We have a lot of tight ends. Marcus Mariota, we could release him. He was not particularly great for us. Would actually save a lot of money there. That almost feels like a no-brainer. $14.5 million for Marcus Mariota. I think that's a good starting point. He performed valiantly, but that's not a contract that we can really afford right now. So we're going to let Marcus Mariota go, and that opens up a lot of cap space. We also have Ashawn Robinson hitting the market. We do have BJ Hill. We do have Justin Madubuike. I think we can probably afford to let him go. Danico Autry is really expensive as well. I think Autry at 33 years old did not produce for us. We have some young players we want to see there. That's a pretty easy cut for us. So our Titans acquisition not really working out. I'm going to hold off on Galladay for the moment, but I think that'll give us some flexibility to at least get some of these guys back that we want. The rest of these contracts are not anything bad. So let's revisit the re-signings after making a couple cuts there. That's not quite as bad as I thought it would be. I thought maybe we were going to have to lose Cam Jordan. So that gives us to $29 million. Rodney Hudson down to a 77 overall. He does not retire. We do have Parham at about a 68 overall at center. He could potentially be ready to go. But let's start with Devin Bush. Jawan Taylor's up as well. So let's start with Devin Bush. He wants 3 years. I think that's about right. But I think we have to go player friendly just to make sure he takes this. Oh no, he's going to test. That hurts. So the franchise tag is $15.1 million, and I don't think we can afford to lose Devin Bush. So we are going to have to apply that to Devin Bush. Sorry, Devin, but don't want him going anywhere after he played so well for us. So that's definitely more than we'd like to pay for him. And I think that probably puts the nail in the coffin of retaining Mike Gesicki, because we have Jonnu Smith. And it's not like Gesicki played great for us, right? But we have Jonnu, we have Cole Kmet. He only had, 840 yards, 69 receptions, 7 touchdowns is pretty good. Difficult decisions here. Difficult stuff. Ashawn Robinson is not asking for that much here. Although if we go player friendly, it is. I don't think we're prepared to offer that. I think letting Gesicki go is just something we're going to have to do here. It's really unfortunate that we're not going to get anything for him, but what I didn't realize was how stuck we are with Jonnu Smith's contract. We take a huge penalty for letting him go, and I think he can give us similar production to what Gesicki gave us, and we have Cole Kmet too, so I think that's a pretty easy decision there. If we look at the O-line, Filer's 31 years old. We're going to need a left guard. Jawan Taylor's only 25 years old. He's not asking for that much. Cleveland could play right tackle for us, but I almost think Jawan Taylor should be a priority for us next. Because Parham, honestly, I think we make Taylor and maybe trying to get Hudson back on a 1-year deal a priority here. I think we can afford to lose Ashawn Robinson. I think Madubuike with a year of development can step up next to BJ Hill and give us a good tackle duo. And I think at corner, we can let Mosley go because I think Jordan Lewis can step into that position pretty well. So let's see if we can get Taylor back on a player-friendly deal. About $10 million a year, a little north of it for 5 years. That's not a super realistic contract. I think what I would do is, to keep this realistic, I think at 25 years old, he'd want to hit the market at 28. But I want to make sure he actually accepts it. And then I will edit that down to a 3-year deal for the same price, just to keep it realistic, because I think he'd want to hit the market again at 28 if he did break out. And that gives us $4.8 million in cap room, which really isn't even enough to get Rodney Hudson. I think releasing Kenny Galladay is the move here, you guys. I know he produced for us, but I really do feel that Corey Davis can give us similar production We could try and trade Kenny Golladay. That might be the way to go. He had a good year. Very similar to like Devontae Parker. I think we could get a 3rd-round pick for Kenny Golladay. Send him back to the NFC North, to the Bears, for a 3rd-round pick who have all of the cap space in the world. I think that makes a ton of sense. So Kenny Golladay off back to the Midwest, and Diami Brown's going to get an opportunity to step up there, and that's going to give us a lot more freedom here. Let's get Rodney Hudson back on a very... I mean, he's not going to play for 3 more years. He should take this, right? He wants to play for a new team next year. Clearly wasn't happy about being brought in the expansion. But we don't have to spend all this money now either. Remember, these guys are going to show up in free agency. We can let them test their market. I think that's probably the best way to do. And I'd rather go into free agency with some flexibility than keep Kenny Golladay around on that price tag. So I think this is the move. Mosley's too expensive there. So some tough calls, but I think we made the right decisions, and we might be able to bring some of those guys back. Let's get to free agency here. And Mike Gesicki is one of the top available free agents. We, of course, have a big quarterback debacle. Mariota would be interested in returning on a cheaper deal. That wouldn't be unheard of. I think that's probably a smart move for us as far as the quarterback move is concerned. I think we're pretty good at running back. Could potentially add a backup, but that's not a priority for us. Not a ton of wide receivers. I'm not horribly uncomfortable rolling with the group we have. If we look at the O-line, Eric McCoy becomes a free agent, and he's interested in potentially returning to Texas. Could be actually an upgrade at center there. And the fact that he's interested is huge, actually. That could solve our entire O-line. I mean, we could have a really nice setup. It was already looking good, but that's probably the best use of our money right there. Let's look at the defense, though. Could use an upgrade with the pass rush, but retaining Cam Jordan, I think we're probably pretty good there. We do need a D tackle. David Onyemata is interested. A'Shawn Robinson. I think David Onyemata could be a nice addition there if we have the money for him. Akeem Hicks is interested. Linebacker, we're in good shape. We don't need any linebackers. And corner could potentially make a move, but I feel okay about our group there. So let's go to Eric McCoy. Let's talk to him. He's very interested. I'm fine giving him a player-friendly deal. We're in that position where we probably have to pay up a little bit to get guys like this. So let's make a big offer there. And we are the top interest level for Eric McCoy, so we'll negotiate with him. That gives us $6 million in cap space. And I think it's smart to just talk to Mariota here. Let's just do a pretty small offer for him, about $4 million. There's just not a lot of teams going after him, so we'll see if he takes that. I think we probably hold off after that. We got 2.5 cap space sitting there. Not a ton of wiggle room, of course, so let's advance and see if we get those guys. We did get Eric McCoy. Awesome signing for us. Wow. Mariota still doesn't have any offers. We really just don't have a lot of money here, man. I think we could try to lowball a D tackle and a running back. A'Shawn's returning to the Rams. He says, it's good to be back after a study abroad in Houston. Tyler Lancaster's interested in us. He'd be a nice D tackle to bring in. We don't have to pay him a lot of money. We just need another piece there, so we'll give him that. And then only $760K. I think we're just going to have to wait on the running back. But let's go ahead and advance. The Seahawks and the Cardinals are swooping in on Lancaster and on Mariota. So That is going to make things interesting. I'm not so much worried about Lancaster at the moment. It's the quarterback I'm worried about. I mean, geez. Are we going to have to dip down into this territory for our quarterback? Heineke has no offers. Jordan Love becomes a free agent. He signs with Tampa. I mean, Gardner Minshew, but they want so much. It's a total EA moment, but I think we're just gonna have to wait. I mean, I'll make an offer to Minshew, but he wants to go to Houston, so I don't think that's gonna happen for us. I think it's probably best that we just take this money with us into the preseason, because we're gonna need to make a couple signings. So it kind of puts us in a bind with the quarterback for sure. We would have some other options if we don't like our quarterback, but it's looking like we're probably going QB1, whoever is best available for us, and potentially we could trade and maneuver. But based on Bengals draft class here, I think there's a chance Bryce Young is here. Anthony Richardson would also be interesting. Will Levy's, like, it's a good quarterback class, so I don't think locking ourselves into drafting a quarterback is the worst idea. We kind of assumed almost that that's the way it was going to go. So let's go ahead and advance towards the draft. And I think what I want to do is scout some of these potential second round defensive ends. Because at corner, we need to get a better picture on some of these guys. Our defensive scouts were slacking a little bit, because that's probably where we're going, either pass rusher or corner. Let's scout these guys. We're on to the draft. So we're obviously afraid of the Texans and the Seahawks drafting a quarterback here. There's only so much we can do. I don't think it's realistic that if they were going to draft a quarterback, that they would trade down with us. I think they would stay put in either situation here. So I think we're just going to have to see what happens and assess the QB situation when we get to our third pick. So Bryce Young does go first to the Texans. Good to see that. And Jalen Carter goes to the Seahawks. So we are going to have to take a look at these quarterbacks and decide who fits us best. So CJ Stroud is a top 5 talent. He has a great release, which is good to see. He is athletic. He has great throw power. Accuracy is good. Awareness is very low, but he's a good ball carrier. So he would certainly be the favorite to be the pick here, right? But Anthony Richardson is viewed as kind of the polarizing super athlete. He runs a 4.5. He has elite throw power. This is definitely the temptation pick, right? It's like Josh Allen or maybe Sam Darnold would maybe be the comparisons here. It's almost a 50-50 decision here, man. I mean, they say he's got a shot put throwing motion, potentially some questionable processing. He does grade out with F awareness, and the accuracy just scares you. I think, despite my aversion to Ohio State quarterbacks, I would still lean Stroud over the project that is Anthony Richardson, especially because the guy's going to have to play right away, right? Will Levy's is another first-round option. He has elite throw power, not quite the athlete. He also has some accuracy issues, but B awareness would tell you that he's got a better ability to read the field. The fact that he's actually pretty good in acceleration, agility, and change of direction is very tempting to me, telling me he's not a complete pocket guy. He's not just a stiff back there. He's able to run guys over. He's got a fast flick of the wrist throwing motion, according to our scouts. This is tough, man. I think I lean more towards Will Levy's in this situation. Very tough call. We don't exactly have like a QB running offense either. We can look at Tanner McKee. He's just not as physically talented. Man, I I think I actually lean Will Levy's based on the scouting profile here. So let's take the Kentucky product, 6'3", 232 pounds. He's a beast, man. He's got really nice athleticism, not top speed, but 94 throw power. I think we made the right pick there, guys. I do. That's exciting. We got our quarterback. So I don't think we're in a position to really trade up. I think we should just maybe see what these next picks go. Oh my God, the Dolphins get Will Anderson with what I think is the Saints pick. Or no, I'm thinking of the Eagles. Never mind. The Dolphins shouldn't actually have that pick, but they clearly struggled this year. CJ Stroud to the Vikings. They take an Ohio State quarterback this time around. The Lions take a tackle. Okay, that's weird. Bears get some local help in Peter Skoronski. Bengals struggled. They take a corner. They needed that. All right, let's get to our pick. Seahawks taking a quarterback in the second round. Wow, Bijan Robinson's still there. Very tempting, but we don't need running back. I would say wide receiver, Josh Downs, really athletic guy out of North Carolina. We do have some athletes there, but we could reunite him with Diami Brown. This Cornelius Johnson is someone our scouts really like, climbing 122 spots here. Really good athletic ability, good release, good route running. He's got my attention. We could go the defensive route with a lot of these guys slipping here. So Andre Carter out of Army, 6'7", 260 pounds. This guy is a freak specimen. You know he's going to come in and work hard for a rebuilding team. He's got we don't know if he has finesse moves, but he probably has power there. Block shedding, an excellent run defender. Fits our scheme. So that's probably where I'd go if we went pass rush. If we went corner, Malachi Moore out of Alabama is there. 20 years old. Runs a 4.35. Pretty good athleticism across the board. He's got B zone, B press, B man. Balanced, athletic, young corner. I don't think we can pass this up and take Malachi Moore. He has hidden dev. Excellent pick right there. SEC is treating us well so far. All right, good draft. Now we do have a pair of third rounders. If we wanted to try and move up for Andre Carter, we could. We do have Yetur Gross-Matos. We have Boye Mafe. I don't think that's quite necessary. I think it's probably better to just sit back and wait and take a couple good players. We have two good third round picks here because we get the one from the Bears. So let's skip ahead. So some of those receivers did go. On the D line, some guys definitely went as well. So we could go with a Derek Hall here out of Auburn. Has A, finesse moves, B, block shedding, really good testing numbers. To me, this feels like a no-brainer. He really feels like a steal, falling to the third round. Kind of reminds me, honestly, of Carl Lawson out of Auburn who fell this far. And wow, what a good pick that was. Hidden dev. I don't know if he has injury risk or what, but that feels pretty good to me. And then I think I probably will go with either a defensive tackle or a wide receiver with this next pick. There's an Alabama receiver here with really good route running. A for deep route, medium route, and short route. Has a stiff arm. 21 years old. He has size. He has good overall athleticism. Nothing crazy, but that feels like where we'd want to go if we went wide receiver. He's a second or third round projection. And then if we went with a defensive tackle, Jacqueline Roy out of LSU. Good athlete. More of a work in progress. Zach Pickens out of South Carolina. Really athletic, good speed. He has questionable pass rush ability. I feel like wide receiver is, because we like the guy, I think that's the route here, is to go Jermaine Burton. Another hidden dev, 91 speed, good change of direction. I think he's going to be a good player for us. And then this is where we might think about trading up for one of those defensive tackles, because if we could round that out, get another DT in the building, it's like bring another running back in here, and this roster's looking really freaking good. So I think that's something I want to consider here, is moving up for one of those two defensive tackles that are sitting there. I don't think the Giants would take one. The Bengals might, because we stole BJ Hill. So let's see if we can make a trade here. So let's see here. I think if I go 4th and a 5th and probably a future 4th. Honestly, it would probably take the future 3rd to make this move, but I feel pretty good about the player that we're targeting to make this move. Giving up that 3rd doesn't feel great, but I think it's important to start the development on these guys now while we have Cam Jordan and BJ Hill in the building. So let's make a decision. I mean, we got a couple of interesting options here. I think Pickens is obviously the higher upside guy. He's the freaky specimen. He's got a little bit more size to him at 6'4", 305. And a little bit more unknown there with potentially B power moves. Whereas Jacqueline Roy, though he is 21, I guess he also could have B power moves. So it's a tough call, but I just have a little bit of a better feeling about Zach Pickens. So we're going to take Pickens. He has normal dev. So our first non-hidden dev guy. We'll maybe have to see who ends up taking Roy. I figured he would come off the board pretty quickly here, but he has not. We'll have to revisit and see where he goes. So that's pretty much our draft, you guys. We're going to skip ahead to the 6th round. I'm going to take a running back. Preferably someone with some versatility to him. So we got Utah here, Tavion Thomas. Good athlete, really good athlete, actually. He's got, we don't really know a ton about him, but let's take a chance on him. I mean, an athlete at this size, that seems like a bet worth making. We'll have to take a look at what he is for us. And then we have a 7th round pick as well. And why don't we take, I believe we don't have a, oh, we do have kicker and punter. Okay. So we're good there. Why don't we take another corner? Tywan Mullen. Pretty good athlete, 4.3 speed. Smaller guy, but let's go there. 93 speed in the 7th round. Not too bad for a corner. Not going to lie. All right, there's our draft. I love it. Let's see what these guys look like before we get out of here. I do want to see that 4th round, that tackle too that we could have had. But Will Levy's 71 overall. Excited to see what his dev is. Malachi Moore, I think we start him right away ahead of Jordan Lewis. I mean, he's poised to play, man. He's got 74 overall, 57 block shed. He's balanced with his coverage. Press is a little bit low, but he looks freaking good. 20 years old, too. Derek Hall is 73 overall, along with Jermaine Burton. Like, we may have found a couple of starters there in the 3rd round. What do we have here with these guys? So, Derek Hall has 79 finesse moves, 75 block shed. He is absolutely a player. And Jermaine Burton his run block is really poor, so we'll have to live with that. But good athleticism. He has 80s in route running. I mean, he's like a Jerry Jeudy. So he's gonna be a really fun piece. I think he's gonna start and he could be like a real player. Diami Brown just keeps getting passed up by these wide receivers, but we gotta play Jermaine Burton. Zach Pickens a 70. The athleticism's clear with him. He has 77 power moves. So he's kind of like Javon Kinlaw in a lot of ways. A little raw, but definitely something there. Tavion Thomas is not bad. I mean, he could have a chance for us. And Tywan Mullen's interesting. 64 overall, kind of a developmental piece. So really fun draft class. Let's see if we can find out where the other D tackle went. I feel pretty good about our pick there. Okay, so Jacqueline Roy, he's not as good. 67 overall, normal dev. So we made the right call with our D tackle, I think. Cool. All right, that is going to do it for episode 5 here. I am stoked for this team. This team is gonna be really fun, and I'm very curious to see like what kind of strides we can make with a rookie quarterback. But I think this team's gonna be pretty dang competitive, especially in our division where it's Tom Brady retired, Saints, Falcons. We can absolutely take care of business here. So thank you guys for watching. Really looking forward to this season and beyond. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace out.
Just a humble bounty hunter, man.